Come vape with me. I thought I'd make a quickie video to tell you where I am now. And this whole channel is simply a history of my vaping journey. At the beginning, things seemed so outdated and strange. We were using technology that feels entirely primitive now when we look back on it. But over those years, since September 2011, I haven't smoked a single cigarette, and I've been entirely hooked into vaping, which I've loved. And at the beginning, I found it frightfully exciting with all the new stuff coming out and things to play with. And so my tail was wagging in delight. Delight that I'd stopped smoking, and delight that there were so many new things coming into the vaping market. Now though, there is so much stuff out there. Vaping offers us so many different choices that it's become completely and absolutely confusing. And so I thought today I would tell you where I am in my journey now after all these years. So I've been through a journey where I've tried just about everything, and I've now come to rest in a satisfied place. All the mods out there, in a way it's new. What's out there is new, but it's getting boring. There are loads of that kind of mod, what I call a rod mod, which is simply a rod on which you stick a tank. There are all sorts of charged, technologically intricate mods that aren't mechanical mods, that you need to adjust the voltage and the wattage, and people play around with that. You can do clouding. You can sub-ohm on tanks where the atomizer is set so low that in fact you have to reduce the nicotine and vape a thickened vapor in order to make clouds. So clouding has come about. You can get glass tanks, plastic tanks. You can get own builds, rebuildables, and with wicks and wires and DIY stuff. And if you're like me and you don't want to be popping around with that, that just goes over my head. I'm going to tell you where I am in a comfortable place. I stick with what I like. So I like the R80. Now that looks a bit perhaps primitive. It isn't as elegant as one should think, but boy is it a useful device. First of all, I can put any kind of tank I like on there because it has a bendable connection, because it's really a pipe, though I never use it as that. But because that comes out, I can put any kind of tank I like in. Because this screws out and it's not restrained by its shape or its outer casing, I could put any size battery in there. And in fact, I use all size batteries. I keep my batteries in this little box. So in fact, it will take all size batteries, even a very long battery, because it's a telescopic battery holder. Now, in the similar shape where the actual battery and the tank lie next to each other, the new ones are already aerodynamic. They've been built into a shell. So you don't have that freedom. And I like to be free. So I stick with the R80. It's got a sort of more punk look about it. It's got a sort of steampunk look about it, and I don't mind that look. It would be nice with a lot of cogs and wheels in decoration. maybe. It's a mechanical mod. Therefore, it should last virtually forever if you can keep the electricity flowing through the points, because that is the one drawback of a mechanical mod, that gradually they get a bit slow in actually sending the pulse of electricity from the battery to the ATI. But if I depress the button before I'm going to vape, then I know it's working and we're away. So I like this R80. And you know, I don't know how many people might have bought this R80, but of all the shapes, this is what we should be going for in new technology. This idea, and it has come out, only we are restrained. We've now got to buy the correct tank for the correct shape of this constrained shape which has been shaped for us. We can only use one size battery. We are being controlled. I don't like being controlled. So this to me is a very good, comfortable device, and I can do anything with it that I like. The R80 would seem to be a strange choice, but I like it, and I have two, a black one and a silver one, and I wish they were in all colours, which you can get in America, because I'd order myself some different colours just for fun. Now, when I'm vaping, I have 2 or 3 tanks on the go, and I do that because just swapping flavours is a delight on the palate. And secondly, you're not using one atomizer all the time. So you give your ATI a rest to calm down and cool down, and you use it again later. So my habit is usually to have three flavors really, and I have a puff on the first one, a puff on the second one, and a puff on the third one. So that's 3 puffs in short order. And then I don't use it for a while I'm doing something else. How much do I vape? I don't know. Sometimes I've felt I'm vaping about 3 milliliters a day, and sometimes it's less, because sometimes I don't fill any tanks for 2 or 3 days. But the problem is, I don't know how much e-liquid is stored in the tanks I use, because they're also awkward and strange. And because I'm using 3, it's hard to know how much. Am I finishing 1 tank a day? I have no idea. So let me talk about these tanks. These are hard to get. They used to be easily available. But these are X-Jet Spider tanks. Vision X-Jet Spider tanks. And of everything I've ever been sent or bought or tried, they are the absolute best. They never leak. They're easy to fill. They give a good vape. And I buy the bottom double coil atomizers off the internet. They come in packs of 5. You can use them in other tanks too. So that's what they look like. And on the bottom of the tank, you simply unscrew the bottom of the tank. There is the coil. You unscrew the coil, and then you replace it with a new coil. I have my own little habit for that too. The coils that come out, because I vape a lot of coffee, which blocks the coils, I take the coil and I drop it in this little pot that's got a lid, and I soak it. and then I jiggle it about and I shake it up in this little pot, and little particles of coffee or any blockages in the tank, these in the atomizer, these are coilless and wickless atomizers, and I like that. So soaking a sad atomizer that might have been blocked up by the flavor that forms little crystals inside, soaking it in warm water, hot water, shaking it, moving it about, removes the blockages. Then, and this is the high technology part, I drop it in a tea strainer like that. Oh, that looks quite a grubby tea strainer, doesn't it? It's a very grubby tea strainer. Well, I drop it in a tea strainer, which goes on the central heating, and it's dry in a few hours. Now, that rescues a lot of old coils. Should you call them coils? They're atomizers, because there's no coils and no wicks in them. That rescues a lot of atties to vape another day. Not always successfully, but very often, yes. That's where I am. I've told you that I use the R80 because of the freedom of being able to change what batteries you use, the freedom to be able to put whatever tank you want to on it, even though it is not glamorous. That isn't bad. It's got a sort of okay but different look about it. And people are quite fascinated with this. They often ask me, what are you doing? Well, I'm vaping. So I'm still vaping, still enjoying it. If something came out that was a mechanical mod that had these attributes, freedom to do what you like with them, then I would go for it. But until that time, I'm sticking with my R80s, and I'm watching out there what is happening with the new devices that are coming out. And actually, you often see a review of a new device, and I go and watch, and then I see, well, it's only a copper thing like that, or a brass thing like that, because I like mechanical mods, or it's some new thing with loads of technology in it. Now, if we are going into a time when buying these devices might become difficult, for me, it's common sense to go for a mechanical mod that will last forever. If the points need coating, then that's easy to do. But once a mod's technology inside, all the glitchy, glamorous lights and things that flash and the adjustable bits and pieces that you have there, there's no repairing them easily. And I like to feel independent and free and safe. Thanks for following me, and thanks for vaping.